على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Okay, I would like to just begin. There's a hadith that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, وَأَنْ أَبِي أُمَارٍ رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بني الإسلام على خمس شهادتي أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة وحج البيت وصوم رمضان. Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu related that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the edifice of the building of Islam is constructed on 5 things. Testimony to the fact that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is a servant and messenger. The establishment of salat, the payment of zakat, the performance of pilgrimage, and observing of fasting in the month of Ramadan. Buniya al-Islamu ala khams. Bunyan is a building. This is a building, Bunyan. So it says, Buniya al-Islamu ala khams. Islam is built on those 5 principles that we all know. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reported, faith is more than 70 branches, and the sublimest of these is the statement that there is none worthy of worship but Allah, and the lowest of these is to remove anything harmful from the path, and modesty is a branch of faith. So if you can't give anybody charity or something, at least you can remove things from their way, like if a branch is in the way. This is a part of the faith, just to clear the road, to make the road so people can move on the way without any trouble, to remove encumbrances. Sayyid Qudri radiallahu anhu reported the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam as saying, he amongst you sees any abominable or anything abominable should modify it with the help of his hand. If he cannot do that, then he should do it with his tongue. And if he can't not do so, then he should abhor it from his heart. And bear in mind that this is the weakest kind of faith. So we see a lot of things going on right now in the world in which we live in. And it's so many different things. You have to figure out where you're going to concentrate. You know, what you're going to do. What are you and your corporation, your movement, your organization, your business, what will you focus on? Where will your concentration lie? Where will your contribution lie? What is it where you want to apply yourself, you know? And so when you look at the world is so complex right now that you have to really decide what you want to do, how far you're going to want to go, and all the other parts that's involved in that personal life of yours or that personal life of ours. The general rule is if you see anything wrong, stop it with your hand. If you can't, stop it with your hand. Military power, military force, speak out about it. And if you can't do that, because some dictatorships, if you open your mouth, you're gone, you're dead. Right now in Saudi Arabia, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but man, this guy MBS'd and locked up the rest of his family, and he just went crazy, And but it's all right. You don't hear nothing about human rights about it because he's hooked up with boss man here, and he's getting closer to the Israelis. So if you're there, or if you would have been around during Saddam's time, and you spoke out, you would have just been killed. In fact, sometime they'd hold up Saddam's picture in the classroom, and if a little kid said, "That's a bad man, that's a mean man," they'd say, "Who's this guy's parents?" And they'd go kill him. Yeah, they'd put him in jail or kill him. That's how brutal it was. So you couldn't let nobody, your family or nobody, know where you was coming from. So at that time, under those conditions, you had to feel bad inside. So the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and he in fact tasted the sweetness of faith, who was well pleased with Allah as Lord, with Islam as a code of life, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as his messenger. Oh, that don't sound like much, because some guy was saying, "Oh, Rasulullah, I love you." He said, "Watch what you're saying." "Oh, Rasulullah, I love you." He said, "Well, be prepared for struggle. Be prepared for sacrifice. Be prepared for poverty." You know what I mean? Talking out the side of your mouth, because this job carries with it its own weight. Now, that's leading into what we're dealing with. Now, this right here carries with it, this is maybe, this is a while back, 2007. This is a while ago. So, but this carries with it a lot. If you say, if you have a program, how to punk the FBI, right? The FBI gonna say, "Oh, okay, nigga." Like, this is a big joke, and it has, from the prisons at McNeil Island in Washington and Leavenworth and Lompoc Federal Penitentiary, Imam Musa has received 3 degrees, including an MBA, because of his work developing, financing, exporting, and distributing the highest quality of cocaine out of Bogota and Medellin, Colombia. He was granted a certificate of Maximus. Don't worry about whether they exist or not, but tell the truth. People have asked me, "Man, you got a certificate of Maximus?" I say, "Yeah." I say, "Yeah, man." A certificate of Maximus, the greatest volume assumed by a function within some subset of its domain of definition. Another of his masters is related to graduate work in counter-harassment aimed at Nazi-like institutions such as the FBI and CIA. And then it goes on to say, he has done several sabbaticals. Every 7 years you get a sabbatical, which includes research in colonial, post-colonial, and neo-colonial methods of subjugation carried out in Algeria, Tanzania, Sudan, and later years, South Africa, which technically this is true. So he has done several sabbaticals, which includes research in colonial, post-colonial, and neo-colonial methods of subjugation, carried out in Algeria, Tanzania, Sudan, and later years South Africa. In the last 30 years, Imam Musa has survived and thrived in the midst of maximum U.S. harassment. Imam Musa is the most arrested imam in America. He is also voted the greatest Negro, the greatest Negro in the world. I don't know if so this is just having fun, you know what I mean? But it ain't funny to them. You know, although we read the hadith that were on the front that dealt with, this is worse than shooting them with arrows, nowadays bullets. So this is not a game. So when you get into this, I want to show you a few things that these are, let's see. These are from the state of California, January 6, 2016. August 24, 2014, June 23rd. These are like statements of information. And you just go down to the window in Sacramento, the State Building, and you turn this, you just fill out this right here, and probably they'll give you a stamp on the back. This is official looking, right? But it don't mean nothing. So I would go down, when I go back, I might stop in Sacramento on the way back and pick up a couple more, or one more myself. Now this is not like that. This is the actual deed to our property in Oakland. This is our deed. You can see this is my slave name where I paid the taxes. And I have the original in the, at the house. Okay, Masjid Al-Islam Incorporated, nonprofit. This is to another one of our properties. Now, so I took my ID and put it in here in color because it says, when recorded, mail document tax statement to Masjid Al-Islam Incorporated, 5021 A Street. So my address on here is 5021 A Street. That's just messing around. They're not going to pay no attention because if you have done this, and if you've been doing everything else that you can do, we're going to get into, here's there's a couple of more. Now, I've had several run-ins in Oakland. Now, let me see if I could find something that really means something. It would be this right here. Ogden, Utah. The Department of Treasury. Masjid Al-Islam Incorporated, care of Clarence Rings, 4603 Benning Road, our tax ID number. Now this is different than this stuff right here. This thing right here is just, you could go right now to California and you could get my number, state number 1086075, and you could fill out this piece of paper right here. And they would give you this certificate right here with a stamp on it and everything. And you could put anybody's name on the board of directors you want. So this is not a legal document. Okay. Sure, sure. There's a whole lot of them right here. This is different dates. This one is June 23rd. That just shows you how easy it is to get them. Right. June 23rd, August 28th, 2014. I'll tell you what the law says about this. The content cannot be offered for the truth of the matter asserted, that Mr. Reams was at one point CEO of Masjid al-Islam, and now Mr. Mujahid is. These are hearsay statements with no indication of reliability. That's what you have in your hand. It has a state stamp on it, but remember, you go to the window, you can write any board of directors you want. But this is what, now I'm reading from a legal document here. I'm reading from what happened in court when I was out there. And by the way, I won that case. I beat that case. If this is the one, if not, I got the other one that says, yeah, there's another one where I beat the case. This one right here. April 19th, you know, not guilty. Clarence Reams, not guilty. That's all it is. But this is what's being stated. These are hearsay statements with no indication of reliability. Both parties merely filled out these forms and submitted them for filing. The Secretary of State did not take any specific action on these forms other than filing them. For example, the Secretary of State did not issue a form finding or declaring that either man was the CEO. Nothing on the forms indicate that the Secretary of State finds the content to be accurate. The stamp only indicates that the forms are true and correct copies of the filing required. You see, this is the legal statement about what these are. And I'll get to why this is one of Mukhtar's. He filled it out. He signs CEO, Mukhtar Ali Mujahid, Saquila Mujahid, and Kenneth Jordan. That's his board of directors. He took this to the Bank of America, and they gave him $100,000. They wouldn't do that with, you couldn't, nobody else, you know, banks ain't that stupid. They know what this little thing is.
I mean, I'm looking it over, and I'm just saying, like, it's a write-in. You write whatever.
You could write in, you fill out they give you this, you fill it out, and they stamp it and give it back to you. That's it. You could put Goofy, you could put Barney, right? You could put anybody on there you want, right? You could put the president, the guys running for presidents. You could put Goofy, you could put Donald Duck, that's what they sing, right on there. And then you could put yourself as CEO. But that's them. So I'm going to deal with a few things, not too much. Now, this is different. You have to submit, this is from the U.S. Treasury Department. They give you a tax ID number, right? Now, that tax ID number means that we technically don't have to pay taxes, you know, okay. And this is different. They do inquiry about this. They go through your whole thing and make sure that when they give this to you, now this one is June 17, 2016. I had it sent to here, to this place, Masjid al-Islam, care of Clarence Reams, 4603, Benning Road. Okay. I had it sent here because I forgot to bring some of our bank stuff. The bank stuff, like they closed my account out with Bank of America. Well, not my account. They closed 6 accounts. Then they kind of reopened 3 of them that had a little bit of money in it, so I could cash the checks. Then they closed those down. Then I went to another bank. When they closed my accounts out, they closed them out, and the checks for what was left in there was in Masjid al-Islam. So I went back to Bank of America. I said, I'd like to cash these. They said, you can't cash them. It's made out to Masjid al-Islam, and that's not you. And then I went to the thing. He looked on the computer and said, don't let him do it. You know, because when you're talking to these people and you're sitting there across the desk, you already watching them, of course, and you see what they get that look. Okay, they done seen something. If I go down here to open up an account for Masjid al-Islam, which I went to all these banks. I went to Citibank down here. I went over there to the one where I have a Negro account, Wells Fargo. As soon as they type in Masjid al-Islam, they say, who has authority to sign for that? They don't go by the tax. They would go by anybody else. They go by this thing. And if I've been here for a week or 2 and I haven't got a new one, when they type it up, they find he's the official of record, right? So that's just a game they play. It's not important. But I want to explain some of the things that have been going on. Now, I've been arrested many times, and I fill out these, you want to have a paper trail, right? It's 2014, Oakland Police Department, like just messing around. And they all say the same thing. I just read you the front of it. Oakland Police Department Internal Affairs Division has been made aware of your complaint. The related case number, and I have been assigned to undertake the intake associated with your complaint. Internal Affairs Division remain committed to ensuring professionalism and accountability throughout the Oakland Police Department by investigating all accusations of misconduct and proper procedure or services within the organization. You will be notified, and it'll include So, if you look, you will find they have a standard reply. And that reply is, we done went over everything, and it seems that the police followed the proper procedure. And that's all they say. I have maybe 5 of these, I don't know. But it's no problem for me. It's just, does anybody remember this? We have a big one. This is Masjid al-Islam Resolution, Philadelphia, And it starts with, we resolve to take Surah An-Nisa, ayat 59, as a guiding principle of our actions. O you believe, obey Allah, obey the Messenger, and those charged with authority among you. If you differ in anything amongst yourselves, refer to Allah and His Messenger. And if ye believe in Allah in the last day, that is best for you if you but knew. Now, I don't know if you can see, like John Hancock, you can see it across the room. Mukhtar Ali Mujahid, the biggest signature on there. That if anything happened, we'll take it to the Quran and solve it. If we don't find the proper methodology in that, we'll go through the Hadith. And, And then if it's none of those come up, then because it says you have confidence in your leader, ulil amr minkum. And for this group, everybody's taking bayah, that means me. But when Mukhtar started, oh, by the way, dear public, I'm talking about this subject today because you may read or you may hear, can the public see the responses that they're making?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm making these so that you will understand who I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I'm just clearing up. We'll get back to our other stuff in a little while. And I have here all documents. I'm not giving any opinion on anything. So, when Brother Mujahid came, he said, what is this? He said, Imam Musa? No, I put up one of these. This is an enlarged check, you know. This is the enlarged check. Now, I think this one was for, you know, like when I would come there, we had a big piece of property on the other side of the street, and it was like a junkyard. All the cab drivers and people in the masjid would dump their cars over there, and they would leave them. So by 2007, I said, I'm going to remodel all that. We had bought this place in '97, and nobody had touched it. That means it was cracks in the roof. Man, it was, you know, if you don't touch a place in 10 years, it's going to be going down. So I got busy with it. So Mukhtar come rolling in. Mukhtar said, Imam Musa, there's another one, Bank of America. It was for my house. Now, in those days, I didn't have an account in my personal name because I'm tied to this. So when he brought these discussion up, well, you spent, I don't know what it was, $24,000 on your taxes on the house. Well, the government sent me a bill that said if you don't pay this, you know, my family had kept the money from, what do they call that, Special 8, but Section 8, yeah. So the house is on Section 8. So my dear family lived right out there in what's the capital? Annapolis in Maryland. In fact, about that time, she bought a nice big house and everything. And I said, hey, that's nice, you got a nice big house. And her husband, this is niece number 2, her husband just retired from the military, from the Navy, and he was in military intelligence. He was in naval intelligence. Now, they stacked stuff out for years. I don't know whether that guy married my niece. So he's in naval intelligence. All this other stuff, there ain't nobody playing. What I'm saying, I've been knowing what I've been dealing with for decades. I'll give you a little hint about it. Let's see. If you have any reasonable doubt, that is reasonable about whether he is the owner, the inquiry ends there. He's not guilty. It simply does not matter that Mr. Mujahid's name was listed on the mailing address You know, where you go down to the county and you just fill out, send the mail here. So like right now, I don't get no mail nowhere. It goes to where he wants. And I went down there 2, 3 times and changed it back. And when I go back down there and change it, the people are angry at me. They're not angry at them. And they're the county. So everybody's in on this. The inquiry, he's not guilty. It simply does not matter that Mr. Mujahid's name is listed on the mailing section. That has absolutely no bearing on property rights. All it means is that he went there and filed this blank document. That's all it means. If it meant anything else, you could bet there would have been someone at that witness stand telling you he has property rights. Does Mr. Mujahid have rights to the property? He does not. If he had, you would have heard about it. Articles of incorporation, you'll have these in the jury room. They are filled out in 1981. They were filed by Mr. Reams. So that's what we be dealing with out there. You talking about a comedy special. Let me see if I can get a little bit of, here's some of it. The court, this is a court just speaking now, and Mr. Reams is still sitting there talking. Defendant, I'm not going to allow you to railroad me. You're not going to railroad me. This is me talking now. And she changed the subject, talking about my lawyer. The lawyer, they didn't force me to have this lawyer. During this trial, I get up and leave the courtroom, and I'm gone for a day. I don't even, some of the stuff I don't know what was said. I win the case. The jury was out 30-something minutes. Not guilty. They couldn't wait. What? They was out not guilty. This is the thing right here, not guilty. But I'm still arrested 4 times recently. It don't make no difference. This is good. You got to remember, I'm doing this on purpose. I'm doing this on purpose. I don't have to write a book. I got stacks, you know, where you order the stuff from, go down to the courthouse and you get the transcript. I got 4 or 5 transcripts already. You know, I got all the stuff from the court. I don't have to read nothing on my opinion. But here's what it says. Now, imagine now we're in the court. I didn't show the jury. I didn't come in and the jury's there. Before they even choose the jury, they got 60 people in there. And I walk in and I'm showing the pictures of this president, all the pictures I show everybody. I said, this is the reason that we're here today. You are here because of that. This is a misdemeanor. This is trespassing. And you are here because of that. So, and now this part is I'm talking and I'm putting stuff into the record because I know the court record had, unless the judge says strike that from the record, it goes in the record. So all of what I'm saying now is in the record. Defendant, I'm banned from England and I'm banned from many places in the world. And it don't have, then I go, it's a black man. I showed you the picture. Americans cannot even meet these people, which is true. I said, Americans can't meet these people? And somebody from East Oakland to rise to that level, and you're going to act like the brothers and the sisters are proud of it. You know, they hadn't got it all right. What I'm saying is, the people in Oakland, you notice when Pete and them send me something, they always say at the end, we're proud of what you're doing. Everybody says that, you know, from those days. Everybody in Oakland said, the court, have a seat, defend it. They know about what's happening in East Oakland, the people. The court, have a seat, sir, defend it. But I'm not going to just sit there and allow you to railroad me. The court just sustained the objection in your case. So if you're following the law, okay, you will realize there's no railroad job here. Defend it. No, it's a railroad job. Then they let me ask you another question about the proceeding. Okay. Defend it. Of course, yes, sir. The court, you'll be quiet. Defend it, si, senor. You know, in other words, yeah, defend it. The court, I'm going to call the jury back in if you speak out of turn. Defend it, okay. The court, or show them anything again, like pictures or anything. The defendant, okay. The court, like the pictures you just showed them. The defendant, right. The court, and speak out of turn, I will have one or more of these 4 deputies. Now, if it was just a regular nigga, I'd have been gone a long time ago. But they can't do that because everybody's there. The whole court is full of people taking notes. The public defender's department, all of them there. The Iranian lady come in and take pictures of all of that. And you know what she says? Oh, you got a picture with Rouhani. That's where they come. That's their crew. Her mama and them is big time. We call her Dolly Parton, Iranian Dolly Parton, you know, puffed up. Nice lady, but she know what's going on. The whole court, everybody in Oakland know this is, you could tell by the dialogue, the defendant. They already tried to assassinate me, the court. Remove you from the courtroom, the defendant, me, in 1975. So I'm just putting everything in here I want. They don't have the police's name. They tried to do it in 69, though. Sergeant Sansucci. Court, wait, I need to know that you're listening. I need to know that you're listening to me. Defendant, I survived 3 attacks by the Oakland police, so I don't care what you say. Do you understand? The court, defendant, my name is Big Hank, Abdul Alim, and Clarence Reams, and everybody know it. And please don't threaten me. That's what I'm telling the white man. So, court. Brief discussion off the record between Reams and Vilken. Thus, the high-powered public defender graduated from super-duper law school that did, what do they do at the work for some big-time attorney when they come in and they write briefs. That's what she did. Biggest school in the country. Because I tried to get rid of her, that she was unqualified. Then the judge ran the school she went to. I said, I still want to get rid of her. But here's why. This is okay. This is a comedy cross-examination here. Ms. Vilken, this is my lawyer. Are you the owner of this establishment? This is Mukhtar. Yes, I am. Everything you told me is true. Yes, it is. I wouldn't tell a lie to the police. I wouldn't lie to the jury. I'm the owner of this establishment. Okay, then it skip a little. Well, what she says is this: if you decide that the witness deliberately lied about something significant in the case, you should consider believing nothing that the witness says. He got up here and lied to you. He did. He lied to you all, to all of us. He's not the owner. And when the district attorney asked him, why did you say that? I don't know. You should have saw him on the witness stand. This guy, I know he was doing it on purpose because it was real clowny. It's like the stuff they do around here. They're doing it to verify what I say. You know what I mean? Everything is done to verify what I say, to make me feel comfortable or do something. It's not working, but anyway.
So he didn't seem nervous or anything while he was up there, like
he was lying. Just okay. He know he's lying. Everybody, they're doing this. That's what I say about the police. See, remember the Oakland police. Let me see if I have it. I got it somewhere. I got it somewhere. The Oakland police, back in the old days. Do you remember I showed you all that stuff with his part of it? In 73, when I came back to the country, I'm in the federal court. I'm doing the same thing that I do here, but the federal court's not putting up with it as much as this court, because they think they got me dead to rights there. And then I start bringing in little stuff, and they start acting funny. But this is all these pages. First of all, I tried to order my arrest record. Now, the Oakland Police Department in those days was second to the FBI. It's kind of like, you remember that movie Panther, when the FBI came in and took over the offices? That didn't happen exactly like you see it, but the Oakland was more sophisticated than LA. It was equal to CIA. Oakland had it down pat. So I tried to get my arrest record. If I got my arrest record, just the arrest would prove my case. So y'all arrested me every time you saw me? This is my arrest record, but it's for my bail bond. See, because I'm thinking they won't give me my arrest record. Who got it? Bail bond. So I ordered them for my bail bond. Look at all these are like. These are my arrests and court dates. All these, there's pages of it. Every one of these is a date, a court date, or an arrest. That means I was in and out of jail, boy, I was on a roll. But see, you remember, when Allah got something wrote for you, you may not know what it is. Or you may not even, how could I put up with all that stuff going in Oakland? Hell, I've been doing it all my life. It ain't. And now it's different. See, in those days, they had tricked me into selling dope. So if they come grab me and I got dope on me, I go to jail. They say, you got dope on you. I say, you put it on me. They say, hey, shoot, I ain't got no dope on me. It's on you. Now, in the court, imagine me in the court in those days. And I'm saying, the United States government did this, that, and another. And all you see on the court is black niggas with long naturals and sunglasses. And they can shoot them anytime they want, right? They can shoot them anytime they want. So imagine I come in there. That's what I actually did in 73. Because when I went to South America, I found that the police was there. And there's nothing I can do about it. It's like here, I can't hide. Well, suppose I go to Medellin. I got to either catch the bus or fly, right? And as soon as I come in the airport, if they didn't know where I was already, they do now, right? Suppose I catch the bus. They got the bus station off. You can't, you know. In fact, I was showing my daughter my elbow here because before I came back to the country, I had my friend bring me the biggest bike they had in those days was a Honda 750. That was a nice, strong, you know what I mean. So we had a big meeting at the Country Club Hotel down in Tijuana. I wouldn't go across the border. So they came down. I had a regular staff meeting. Imagine the Negro with a whole staff of people. That's what we're doing. And I had him bring me down a bike. You know what I mean? A 750. Now I was going to take that bike, show you how good God is. So from Tijuana you go across, really you're below the border, but you're going all the way across, and you're getting ready to hit Nogales or 15 going down south, Highway 50, to Los Mochis, and pretty soon you'll be in Sinaloa and all of those places. I see the names on the thing now, you know. Tres Rios. Tres Rios is a part of Culiacan. Culiacan is a center of drug trade in the Western Hemisphere. And it's been the center of drug trade. And that's why they call it Sinaloa Cartel, you know, and all of that. So I was heading on down there, or I was heading across, and I'm on the highway, going through the Sierra Madres, and on nice asphalt road, and guess what? The asphalt cut out, no asphalt. And you're in that same, it's a strange feeling. I scratched myself up pretty bad, but I had a helmet on. I didn't actually get hurt. I just got scratched up. And I was dazed, just googly-eyed for a while. Guess what came along? A Mexican tow truck, right behind, just like stuff happened around here. Right behind, a Mexican tow truck, and took me to Nogales, to the border, and across the border, and I took it and park it at the Honda shop. And parked it at the Honda shop, I left it. I never went back, and I wanted to get these parts. But the thing about it was, the road ran out of out of asphalt, and then the asphalt kicked in as I went around the corner. So I actually fell. I was already sliding, and I fell on the asphalt, and it kind of scrapes you up a little bit. But anyway, I thought about it a while. That influenced me to come back to America and take care of all of this. I was already in the mood, you know what I mean? And I had a few things going on, but around that time I came on back to the U.S. Of course, I went right back across the border after dropping it off at the thing. You know, I ain't gonna stay over on this side. Anyway, I kind of cruised around a little bit. Then I turned myself in. Do you remember the late 70s and the early 80s? Guatemala, the death squads, down in, they killing nuns down in Salvador. I couldn't have got through Central America. I'm going back to South America. I couldn't have got through nowhere on the Pan American Highway. See, I'm going to ride all the way down. I'm going to get on a boat, go across whatever bridge to go across the Panama Canal. And I'm going to ride all over Colombia. I'm going to be free as a bird. You know what I mean? And at least I can get 20 minutes head start on these airports and stuff. Because you ain't going to get no head start because the police going to stick a little beeper on your bike, right? And you're gonna beep all down in South America. They've been had them things out since the 30s, the 40s. So anyway, I get back to the story. Forget about all of this, but this is all my bail bondsman stuff and all the arrests that I had, my witness list. Now I was going to prove that I was trying to do right. Here's old police tried to get rid of me, Sergeant Sansucci, and then I brought one of the police's, Officer Dillon. Officer Dillon was a friend of mine. He's a nice white man. And so when he came down to testify, he had his regular sheriff's uniform on. And they asked him a few questions. And the next day, the prosecutor said, whatever they did, it didn't have nothing to do with us. In other words, when one of their people, the white man, said, no, that guy was on the compound. Compound is like, remember them old time county farms? You're on the county farm for 10 days, you know. I know I'm driving a truck around. And so the boss man is a friend of mine, Officer Dillon. He's a nice young guy, you know what I mean? So he ain't gonna bother you or nothing. Sergeant Sansucci come on the over with a pistol on. Now this is minimum security where I'm at. I'm doing 10 days. And they take me to Greystone, that's maximum security. For what? Then when I got over there, anyway, it's a long assassination attempt. When I said Sergeant Sansucci's name in the court, this court, I said, yeah, it was Sergeant Sansucci. And they just, you know, they all the courts ran by the Alameda County Police. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to some of this stuff. I'm doing this not to prove a case or anything like that. What I'm doing this for is so you will know who you're listening to. I'm doing this because every time that we say something, they come on after that. So I want you to know my record, I'm stating it, so I want you to know, here's my record. I was arrested just last year 4 times. Here you are, just 4 times. You know, arrest record, Alameda County Sheriff's. They arrested me so many times that they lied the last time. I beat the case, but they said, they even on this little case, they split it up. It's a long story, but they split this thing up. You remember when I mentioned from the court, I say, send me a text or something, and it says, I am following your order on something or other, right? And that's what I wanted to show up on the phone. That according to my order, not a suggestion, I am doing this. Don't make no difference to us. But for them, they done said, whatever they would do to me, they would go tell the court I did it to them all the time. No, I got, like, you file a complaint against people, they file a complaint against my kids, they file a complaint against me. Let's see what we got here. We done already went over, are you the owner? Let's see. Did the witness make a statement in the past that is inconsistent or consistent with his or her testimony? The district attorney is asking you to rely on his word alone to convict him and some documents he made. There's no evidence at all other than his word that he is CEO. I got the deed. Just imagine this now. One of these, it says that I showed them the deed, you know. Well, I done showed y'all all the deed before, so don't worry. I got the deed. I showed them the deed. They take me to jail anyway, to the property. Because that's what they're doing. You talking about punking the FBI and Oakland Police Department and the CIA and all of that. So they say, okay, nigga, we'll just show you what power we have. We'll put you in jail anytime we want, for any reason we want. We don't have to make no, right? That's what they're doing. Now, their calculation is that eventually, Mukhtar had one of these in his, this is my passport thing, and he had one of these. I keep a few of them with me. If you would remember the stuff that I took out there in November of 2017, it had 3 sets of material, all relating to, I'm going out there now, I'm going to fight this case. So I'm going to give it to this lawyer, I'm going to give it to that lawyer, and, you know, probably keep one myself for them to review. And in that, I had this. So my lawyer asked, when I saw their paperwork, I was looking, I said, man, of course they was showing it to me. I said, this guy got my passport photo and all that. She says, yeah. So she asks, where did you get that? Mukhtar's on the stand. He said, he sent it to me talking about me. I didn't move. I was like I did a murder or something, or killed somebody, you know, where they sit there and don't move. I didn't move. He said, I sent it to him with all of this stupid stuff.
So he just rolling with all these lies like.
It don't make no difference. It's like everybody else around here. Just transfer here to Oakland, right? People can say, I'm the bad guy. It don't make no difference, right? The idiot can leave all that junk out there, right? Nobody comes back and says, oh, that's terrible, right? They don't say that. They don't. It's okay. I'm going to get to the point in a minute because this is a good point. You have to realize at a certain time, or almost right away, this is a state document, the state of California. And Clarence Reams, of course. This is a state tax. This is what you have to file first. This is the one for good old D.C. We're registered here as a foreign corporation from another state off of this. So I had to take this down there, and I went on and took this, and so we're registered here in D.C. You know, we're technically registered. It ain't no, so anyway, let me get back to this stuff. You wouldn't believe it. It is hilarious. So anyway, let me get to a few more of these. Now you got to remember, does anybody remember the one I read where it was saying that I had 2 shotguns and I came from D.C. and I had, okay. Did you actually see that written? Because I read it, but did you actually, okay.
You read it.
Yeah, I read it. I had it in my hand. I might have had it sit, but okay, there's no big deal. I got the same stuff. But the point is that imagine a black man now. They shot the little boy over there. All you got to do is have a gun. Now imagine me going to Oakland. I've been arrested all these times now. It's not possible that the Oakland Police Department don't know who they're dealing with. Because Oakland Police Department used to use me as a study thing. Here's what my son was saying when they asked him. He was my father. Every day, every night, we helped sheetrock that building. We helped actually, the building was already gutted, but it was infested with rats. We used to have a pistol and we'd shoot at the rats. They have a 22 slug, you know, for rats down in Dixie. The rats are pretty little bigger down there. No, in your house, there's a slug for rats. They don't have them up here because you put holes in the wall. But down there, them old, you've seen how the houses look. You could shoot it all day. It don't make no difference. So if you roll over and see a rat, you just pull out your stuff and start blasting. So we had one of those there. You know, a 22 slug. It's a real 22 pistol. So actually the building was already gutted, but it was infested with rats. Now the rats was, you know, we had opened up the sewer line to put in a sewer. We dug it all out. And them sewer rats was rolling in there. You know them big rat traps? When them big rat traps would hit them rats, man, they would be flapping around. They would sound like, they wouldn't dock them out right away. They'd be flapping all around. Hey, man, that was serious. It was just dilapidated. It was wires loose in the roof. There was no floor. Now he has a beautiful floor. That was just the building, was just me. To me, when we first got it, I didn't understand it. Now, remember, these are my sons. That's why they forgiven, because they was here from Jump Street. And imagine I leave as Big Hank, big cars and everything. And I come back, well, we'll skip a few times. And I come back, I leave driving Brohams, and I come back drive like that little yellow Volkswagen out there, driving that stuff. I had a little yellow Volkswagen, just like that, 73. It was a shock, because they wanted me to come back. They're looking at all them pictures. They're like little celebrities. My oldest son, he'll be 55 in a couple of weeks. He was like, he remembers very well. It's like a celebrity. You know, we was a celebrity family. To me, when we first got it, I didn't understand it. He didn't understand what, because we sleeping on the floor all dug out. But I was young at that time, and the building was just dilapidated and messed up. And what kind of services? I guess the question I should ask you, do you know when services were offered to the community? Services as far as Juma services, any kind of religious services? Immediately my father, when I say he purchased, in the beginning, he purchased all these wooden chairs, even at first, because some of the people wouldn't be used to, you know, in those days, sitting on the floor. So it was a church closing down, and they had all them old wooden chairs. So we'd have the masjid like this, and then we'd have all those chairs back there in the back. And he said, and sometimes only 3 people would come. So they would stack the chairs, unstack. They hated that. You can tell by the way this is his witness thing here. He hated it. You know, in the beginning, it was real rough, but it was a challenge for him as well as for us. But he was our father, and we would stack these wooden chairs. They probably dream about wooden chairs. You know, mobsters coming to get you, sitting on wooden chairs. No, but that's why I forgive them. I already know what they've been dealing with. They did good for a long time. No, they didn't turn them into dope fiends, and shoot them all up with dope and then shoot them with guns and try to cut them all up. I got what I prayed for. I said, oh, Allah, keep these niggas alive. That's what I prayed for. I didn't pray for, so, you know, when you get what you pray for, don't start jumping up and down. I wanted them to stay alive long enough till they knew what was happening, because I used to tell them, and they remembered, I said, you know the stuff they use on the Soviet Union and them spy things? I said, they using that on y'all. And the only way you're going to get through all of that is live just like me. And I could see in their face, good God Almighty. Because they thought, man, this is lonely, unrewarding work. Because they saw what everybody was doing. You know, this man, there ain't no reason. You know, they want a reward. They don't want, or some. Yeah, immediate reward. They're young. They don't want. They thought, man, this is a lonely, hard. Why would you do? Why would you punish yourself to do this stuff? That's the way they looked at it. The jury must hold against the people about Masjid al-Islam or Mr. Mujahid the fact that defendant was removed at gunpoint, or that he was accused of having weapons but had none. Now remember, this one don't say I had 2 shotguns. Others said I had 2 shotguns. But this say I had guns. The SWAT team was there. Those military vehicles that you see on TV, they was outside the masjid. Every time I got arrested, the first time in September 2014, I imagine there's about 12 cars. I could see most of them. When they would come, when we would be out there defending the masjid, all the police, all the snitches, all of them, they was all on Mujahid's side. And remember, we're talking about Islam right now. What kind of Islam and what could I do to an individual that everything is fine? I done gave him the job of the century, and I done said things like, man, I looked on the page from the old school and I saw it was $100,000 on one page. That's why they stole all the material back. Yeah, it's okay, it's all right. But anyway, the reason we're running this down is because we have a completely different idea about it. Mr. Mujahid noted that there was a travel bag near the front door containing documents such as tax forms and property accounting forms that belonged to the organization, not Mr. Reams. Now, that's the one I took. And every day, now you got to imagine I'm setting them up easy. When I leave the masjid, I take my bag and I take that mail cart, that's what I had it in, with me every time. Because they come in and knock your stuff over all the time. So this says, tax forms accounting organization, and not to Mr. Reams. The police report notes that the forms did not have Reams' name on. They were all this stuff. That's all his names on there. But he's writing a report, so he can say what he wants. Previous arrest of subject with a gun here before as a result of a dispute that Mr. Reams had nailed the door shut. I underline this because they never found no gun, and if they had, I wouldn't be here. It's clear, you know. I mean, they could be talking about when we had when they attacked the masjid outside. I had Diamond with me, I had one of my sons with me, and I had a few more guys. They took First of all, Mujahid had a thobe on. And it was a military move. The Arab guy, you know, Al-Qaeda looking, you know, the fluffy beard. I'll tell you about them later in months to come, about a big murder out there. Yeah, Chauncey Bailey is a big murder out there. A reporter that was messing with Yusuf Bey and them. It's a long story. You better start messing with somebody else. They're going to be on point. Them Arabs, and I got to imagine, they would be standing talking to me like I was a piece of SHIT, these Arabs. And that one of them, as I'm moving around the Masjid, he's the one that leaned forward. And I said, I told you, I knew you was a low-down B-I-T-C-H, police blankety blank. You know, because you put people under pressure, they'll go into their training without being conscious of it. The point I'm making, dear listeners, to be brief, we've been dealing with this subject for years. This part of it, you could go back almost 10 years when Mujahid was placed in a position. But I said to Mujahid and his wife, Sister Khadijah, I sat them in the front of the masjid and I told them, don't you worry. I said, I'm going to help y'all. I said it and I meant it. I said it and I meant it. We don't need to go over all of this stuff. It says the same thing. There's no other evidence he is CEO. He signed the paper. Everything is just paper he signed. Where's the legal proof? In other words, for me to get arrested, there's no legal proof. He says to them, he's in this building illegally. I have the deed. The deed. Okay. So let me see. Let me get back to.
Can you help somebody that don't think they need any help?
Okay. Remember, let's say if the core of this started in 2013, that's 7 years back. Okay. Look at the world now. Just think about it. Okay, they did all of what they did. Suppose they was trying to slow down the roll. Supposing, if you remember, I was talking about what is the effect of when you're goal-orientated and people interrupt your goal time after time. What effect does it have on you? Okay, what effects does it have on them that they think your goal is to produce something like that? But your real goal is to, what do we talk about? Longevity, toughness, right? We talk about all the time of being an archivist, you know, chroniclers, right? That's what we're doing. Those goals we talk about, that's arbitrary stuff. When they attack us, when they do all of this, that's what we want them to do. Because remember, this is what we're writing about. Like, probably I'll do some videos specific on this. I'll do a better one on this. But by the time I go out to California, I'll have at least 4 or 5 very good videos. And I'll send them to all the lawyers. I'm going to send them to all the lawyers. I don't care. What the heck? All of them. I probably might send them to here. I might send them to any law school. I might just send them everywhere I want. They're just videos. And if I send out 500 of them, somebody gonna call. The government can't get every one of them because I'll slip up to a mailbox, then I give something to a little kid to go mail or something. You know, anything, it's okay. Don't make no difference. But the point is this. Everything that they sail their vessel on, stealing money. Remember our paperwork, what does it say? This is to pay, for us here, our goal was to pay that $48,000, $50,000 in taxes. Here it is, January 27th. I ran late in the PM, and this is $17,684, $8,974, $19,515. That's for their taxes. And we gave $500 for the tsunami that was over in, because in those days we was going over to Sri Lanka, and the governor of the state, Hafiz Malana was his name, Hafiz Malana. He would speak on our programs, and he was the governor of the state. So we sent him with just $500. We sent more later on, but that's what we did that day. That's not ours, that's their stuff. That's $50,000 out of our pocket, if we called it that. But we're not thinking about our this, that, and another. It's the community, right? So let me just read a few hadith, and then the points will begin to come out about. Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "He in fact tasted the sweetness of faith, who is well pleased with Allah as Lord, Islam as a code of life, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as his messenger." Sahih Muslim. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu stated or said, "Three are the signs of a hypocrite. As he speaks, he tells a lie. As he makes a promise, he keeps it not. As he is trusted, he betrays his trust." Okay, not a hadith Sahih Muslim is calling this hypocritical behavior. Our acquaintances failed on everything. They were given a trust, the Masjid, the school, all paid for, all that property. So he goes and sells the property. They go and work with the police and say, "I can't go on the property. I can't go." Even the one where I got my doggone picture on it, right? That says, "Send all the stuff to 5021 8th Street." That's the school. I can't go on that property. Okay, imagine like now, right now, if I was a common person, I have the whole police department in Oakland waiting for me to come back, just if this is an average analysis, right? And I have a crew out there that are not restricted by what they say. Like all this paperwork says, "Where did you get the right to do that?" I don't know. I don't remember. "Do you have a right to do that? Did you sign some papers and took it to the bank?" Hashim Alauddin was at the bank with him. All when I'm talking about stuff I know, he was at the bank. He told me at the program, the Persian program in San Francisco, 2.5, 3 years ago, but he forgot, because I asked him a year or so ago, "Hey, no, okay, fine." But he told me then He was at the bank in Berkeley because he's from Berkeley. It don't make no difference. Hey, man, we got it going on. All of this stuff is going our way. So if this stuff started 7 years ago on this, it started a long time ago. It ain't started a long time. It's been like this all the time. You got to remember, from day one, from the day we opened up, it was like this. From day one, the only people that wasn't the police was my sons. And they picked up on it fast. They had their own little, and they would say, I had some brothers come down from Denver. They said, Dad, so-and-so got them B-word actions. I said, that's right. So I'd ask, how did you come to that conclusion? My youngest son said, well, when they're up there speaking, I put a police uniform on them. If it fits and it look good, I said, they're the police. I said, that's different than mine. I said, but the hell, it's working, right? Because he's probably, God give them extra little things that, you know what I'm saying? I said, shoot, it's working all the time. Good God Almighty. I said, I don't use that process. But that's what, they would do that and that. Anyway, now imagine that we had to develop, go way back to you coming out of prison. It was a song I liked when I came out on a furlough, 79, looking for a Masjid, Christmas furlough. And somebody's da-da-da-da, nobody cares about me, or something like that. And I was looking for the Masjid, and that song, I liked that song. It was popular at that time. Osborne, somebody. Love a Stranger, or something like that. Yeah, but I wasn't listening to no Love a Stranger. I was into that one part, there is nobody to care about me. Now, here I am, you know, where you're talking to yourself, so, well, brother, you're fixing to go up against the white man again. Well, ain't nobody gonna care about me. But then remember, da 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 da. It's like whistling through the graveyard. In other words, everything's gonna be all right. And I like that. But anyway, we've been doing that all the time. There's no other way than, for some reason, I'm on their mind. You could tell, you get the idea, I'm on their mind. I mean, I'm really on their mind. Okay, sometime I'll be ready to say, boss, you know, I mean, maybe you're overdoing it, but it's perfect. Remember, they're not doing nothing. I don't have to go back out there and do nothing. I can go when I want. I don't like the little financial pressure because, you know, they mess with you long enough. You know what I mean? It's going to hit stuff long enough. And after 40 years of just like boom, 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 and finally, you know, people was thinking that nigga must have hit a lot of money. He must have sold a lot of dope to last that long because they can count. Man, that adds up. And then we just stroll out there and $50,000. And if they have a fundraiser, we go out there with a cashier's check for $35,000. And the guy that's raising the funds will look, oh, we have a check for $35,000 from Masjid al-Islam. And then they maybe wind up at 80,000 or something. But with 35,000, we did it every time. That's the way we did, okay? Here's some of the questions that we have to, and I want people to, the stuff about Islam. He will not enter paradise whose neighbor is not secure from his injuries or injurious conduct. This is a hadith, everybody know it. Well, what about, I don't have the picture here, but What if somebody get a team and they can tell, you don't know how much slowdown the white man then gave you, but if you're sitting at the table, and let's say at that time you're 73, if somebody attack you from behind, you know, even now, if you got to push to get up, you know what I mean? And if you grab somebody, you're not going to just stand up. If y'all could stand up and be tussling. But for me at that time, so I got to think real quick. So I pull him and roll over. But as I roll over and I'm like this on top of him, there's my head. And that dear lady, my head is right there, just like hitting a watermelon. Can you imagine? Yeah, she can haul off and go whop, and I can feel that now. You know, people that, well, I was, what did they say? I was abused, and I feel it now. Hell, I can feel that whop, whop. You know what I mean? Not right now. I don't care. But that stuff really happened. Now, what kind of Islam is that? Where you're not safe from your neighbor's battering, aggression, and calling the police. Anybody that call the police on another Negro and tell him he got guns, that's what they say. These are documents from the court. He's got guns. He's had guns. He's been fighting the police. And the police is telling them to do that. Do you know how fortunate I have to be to come through that? Because that whole team is on the same team. And half of my team is on their team. Right? That's Allah's protection. It ain't no like I done slicked them. You know, I done slicked the police, you know. And yeah, when we outside and they rumbling and tumbling, one of my little friends body slammed the guy and his gun came out. Man, them other two Arabs come there with perfect police form. You know, legs spread wide, you know. And when I'm using that little speaker and I'm standing outside the masjid, the guy comes right up, looks at me, reach down and snatch the cord. You know what I mean? And so you're not speaking anymore. All that, all military. Mukhtar's over there, he's coming this way. But Mukhtar is a little slow. He had one of those stoves on like this, except, you know, it has that pocket inside the pocket, and you got to go through that slit to get your gun. This boy is fumbling, trying to get, and I wanted to tell him, Mukhtar, you can't wear no doggone thobe and then have your gun inside, you know what I mean, like inside here. You know, maybe stick it out here, hold it in your hand. And dear Khadijah, with her fumbly breasts, she got her little pistol, and then the police come, and the police block the streets where they can run away. And the lady upstairs, up the street, say, why they attack that church like that? You know, the masjid. And now they let them get away. All the guys who was attacked, they let her get away, and the policewoman was, all she did is took a quick picture and went on. So all of this can happen because, so now let's think. What are we going to do about it? Well, we're going to use it. You know the picture of Mukhtar standing there with me with no shirt on and barefooted and everything? That's iconical picture for this period. That's why we're here now. This period. It don't matter whether it's today or tomorrow, but at a certain time, all of this will come out. And remember, I have documents. I'm not, you have to, I don't say have to have, But I wanted all of this like this. I've been at this document. I could have moved on this a long time ago. Why am I not moving on it? Because I don't think it's the time. Something's going on. It ain't the time yet. I'll move on it when I get ready. It doesn't make any difference about money. It doesn't make any difference about income. That's why I wrote on our stuff. I'm going to do this even if we have to sleep, on the bridge, yeah. That's what I mean, technically. I mean, my family, they can stay there, they can do what they want. But I'm prepared to sleep under a bridge. I mean, really, just right under the bridge. Under a real, regular bridge. It don't make me no difference. It actually don't make a difference. It's the job. It's the movement. It's this great period we're living in. Imagine what time we're living in. You know what I believe about boss man? If you so bad, stop them damn fires out there in California. If you so bad, get a little space where the helicopters can evacuate all them people. They evacuated some yesterday. If you so bad, Joker, cool it down. It was 121 degrees. It was 111 in L.A. In L.A. County, it was 121 degrees yesterday or the day before. Huh? Shh.
So that means they got the fire suit on.
They got... No. Yeah, but see, 80 degrees in humidity is one thing. Even 90 degrees in humidity is one thing. But 120 degrees, 118 degrees, right everywhere. 111 degrees, you got that coming. You ain't gonna get no better than that. 111 degrees out in the sun. Walking up, we used to have back pumps, five-gallon back pumps, and you went up and you sprayed a little water on it. You had to walk them down. Excuse me. You had to walk. Hey, man. God have you in shape, though, boy. You can do stuff like that. You just look at it now and just, hey, that's all right. But this movement that we're a part of, this thing we're doing, we're in the middle of this thing. We're not on the outskirts of it. We're not, and our job, we have to look at, are we doing our job? Okay, what was the original? That we're going to have toughness. We're going to have pertinacity. We're going to have all of that, because this is a long range. So we're going to have to be able to tolerate a long process of struggle, what other people would call humiliation, harassment, all of that. Why you think I don't turn no stuff off? I leave it on for them. I don't want them to stop calling. I want them to keep calling. Because our job, remember, at first, you may have ideas what you want to do, but as you move along, whatever you're trying to do, Allah gonna give you insight. And the old thing about feigning the East and striking the West, they don't know what it means. Because for each different people, it means something different. It may mean striking the West and hitting the West too. Because they think you're going to feint over here and go over there. You may hit bam, bam. And he running over there to try to stop you, and you coming right back. What does that mean? He thinks if we give him enough of this stuff, he'll fight the case right away. Everything they're doing is trying to get me to run back out there and fight the case. They're daring me to, come on. Almost they done got it fixed up. We want you to do it. Hey, man, we're going to give you this. I don't say that. I said, look, you've been a bad boy I'm sorry. I didn't go through all of this to cooperate with you. You're going to cooperate with us because you're a bad boy. No, that's exactly what we mean to him. You've been bad. You've been bad, and if you want help, you're going to have to come around to where we are. You're going to have to just come around to where we are because you're not qualified. And, like you say, you got Goofy, you got Donald Duck, and they not, look, neither one of them, Democrats or Republicans, how are they going to do anything? Nobody is saying anything about it's like, before they had a 10-year thing out there, and then they had 1 or 2 years of rain. And it's back, man. It's back like, if you saw, and everything they do increases what they got. Oh, we need more money, so we're going to burn up the Amazon and plant some chickpeas, whatever they call it, soybeans down there, right? And you're going to burn them up. It's going to put more carbon up in the air. You're going to choke the lungs out. The lungs of the world is in Brazil, right? All that Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela, the southern part, that's the breathing apparatus for the world. Well, we just burn that up, right? In California, a partner of mine called the other day. I said, how y'all doing? I said, well, it's fine. You can't breathe. I said, I'm not coming out there. For instance, at my age, I want to breathe some air. I don't want to be just can't breathe. But here's the thing. I believe this thing that we're dealing with is, I have believed it. I haven't believed it. I've been knowing it for a long time. It's divinely inspired. Not we divinely inspired, but this thing is. It's clear. It's clear. They're gonna have to come around. Ain't nobody got time to be. Nobody has time to be playing with them. And they are not good. That sounds kind of silly, but they're just not good people. They're not good. And if we cooperated with them, like when we say, hey, you can fix my house out there, well, you can fix it. Or don't fix it, I don't care. I'm not going to run out there, But it could help because if you talk to somebody and you say, well, if they fix that house, they don't want to stay over in that room, so they want to go out California and help their mama and them, and their mama and them is old. Well, that's, and they can be whoever they want to be. They can be bad as they want. You know what I mean? But I'm going to treat them good, just like if I can treat these crackpots good, right? I can sure treat somebody good that, I look at it like this. I'm going to look on the best side. I'm going to try to pull the best part out of the Negro. Nobody never tried to pull the best part out of the Negro. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it because I don't think the Negro didn't been exposed. Nobody has used the right type of patience and concern for the Negro. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. Technically, we'll just love them to death. I think that some kind of way, they just didn't get the right information. All the avenues of light was cut off. So the only thing they had access to was what came through Boss Man. And Boss Man, he's like historical, the movies, Tractor Beam, Star Trek. they're in a historical tractor beam. You know that tractor beam, they lock it on you, you can't get out of it. Okay, look at their behavior. They're in a historical tractor beam. They want better climate, but we need more money. And right now, the top rich is getting rich, and everybody is starving to death. That is a classical recipe for revolution. The divide the people, the big middle class keeps everything in balance. Super poor, everybody, and 4 or 5 super rich. It's a recipe. So what we say is, no. We don't want nothing they got. We're going to just try to do good. And Allah will direct us to what that good is. When we want to go to California, we'll go out there. If they mess with stuff around here, go ahead. Mess with it. Do whatever you want to do. That's the same thing we say about the people. But what's our attitude? Let's see. It's reported that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the similitude of a heart is that of a feather. In a desert land, the wind frequently turns it upside down. You know, the heart is like a feather. And it's being turned. Well, we're going to participate in our own turning. And the other thing is, when we talk about going Star Trek, going where nobody has gone before, our process has to be the same way. Nobody has ever did this, what we're talking about. They haven't did this. They haven't been able to last. And nobody did that. Nobody could even think about putting up with this all of these years. I haven't read it. I really looked for it. I haven't seen none of it. I haven't seen 2-3 years of it. I haven't seen 5 years. I ain't seen none of it. With focus, with concentration, and with compassion. See, this transition, it has to be incorporated something, when they say go beyond where nobody's ever gone before, ain't nobody been here. And when you think of where ain't nobody been before, well, ain't never been to Mars, but what about around here? Nobody have never exhausted the infinite human compassion. Yeah. Ain't nobody never tried it. They can't last. People last a few years. They don't even last. People get mad. They get mad soon. People get evil. They get upset. They get sad. It's like if you destroy whatever they're trying to do, they get sad. They get mad. You know, they get depressed. They get all kind of stuff. They get ulcers. They get suicidal. They get all kind. That ain't happening. We're giving them ulcers. We're giving them suicide. The other day it was so funny. Remember we said the crackpot line is open. That's worth $1 million to me. $5 million easy. There's nothing but a phone call, and they called on the crackpot line. It's their number. They called on the crackpot line, and I'm saying, right? Remember we were there. I said, okay, the crackpot line is open, and I got my phone in my hand. Remember that? I just got my phone in my hand, and that boy rings. I said, my goodness. Okay, that means that we're in control of some things. It's simple, it's stupid, but we don't look at it as stupid. We look at it as, see, they think all this stuff is real. If we did all of this stuff, and believe me, it's like, I know you think I'm lying. It's 20 times all this stuff. That's why when I get the stuff out, I just throw it all over. I said, man, Because I come out, I said, I'm going to get, that's why when I called, I said, we get down here at 5:30. Yeah, just another 30 minutes, because I want this organized. And I want to present it like in a courtroom and this, that. I said, shoot, man, this stuff is so much. And I had to leave. I leave like boxes. This is nothing. It's not even, it could be 2 or 3% maximum. It could be, and this stuff is just from the last few years. This is all recent stuff. This is recent. Okay. What we're moving toward is just what we said. Look, Allah can, I don't know what other people make, but I already know. It's like going to California and the whole police, you can tell all of this, they own that. And I'm still here. Right? Just like remember I was sitting in the hospital, I bet you I looked like a fool with all them stitches in the head. What did I say? Optimism. I couldn't say nothing else. Hell, I didn't know nothing else. Can you imagine? I didn't know my prayers. I couldn't say Al-Fatiha. I don't even know if I knew Bismillah. But I didn't know nothing. I couldn't do I couldn't do nothing, none of that. Then I walked down to the store. First I'd walk to the corner, then I'd walk down to the store, or to church, then to the store, walk back, and I started walking up the hill. And then I get a call from overseas. And the next day I was turning flips. The next day. Remember I was, look, I don't care what you say, I know what I was, and I know, and they giving me this stuff down at the house, talking about, read this, cat, dog, and all that crap. And I got enough sense to at least read the stuff. I couldn't remember it, but I was just going over the stuff I read. And I couldn't write. Just imagine, let me see, okay, I'm going to have to learn to write again. This thing here, I may have to start with my left hand, right? Hey, man, and in 3 days I was given a khutbah. Remember that? 3 days I was given khutbah.
I didn't kind of believe it at the time, because I was kind of, I didn't even register. I saw the imam came in, I was like, oh, look, it's the imam. It's like, oh,
Yeah, yeah. It all, bam, just like that. That means that boss man, it's not just African Americans, it's Iranians. We got our foot up, everybody's behind. You got to remember, they drew us, they wasn't thinking. First it was a Super Sunni crew to support the Islamic Revolution, Zafar Bangash, Muhammad al-Asinem, and all, that's a worldwide crew. Now remember, I'm going all over America, and I'm part of the worldwide crew. So, Indonesia, Malaysia, all over, everywhere. And I know all of these people, and all the movements, and all of this is going on. And they can't write me out of all of that. Like now, they can't write me out of all of that. They've been trying for, it's been a good 15 years. It ain't working. It's not working. When Dr. Siddiqui passed away, that's when they got started. We got to get this nigga off the, we got to get him. We got to get him out of here. Because Dr. Siddiqui done said this, and everybody done heard it too, right? So they got to get their little fanfare going on. I just read one or two of these things, and then I'll finish up. News press release, statement of remarks, readouts, testimonies. Press release. Treasury sanctions Iranian organizations and individuals supporting intelligence and cyber targeting of U.S. persons. February the 13th, 2000. Today, the U.S. Treasury Office of Foreign Assets Control designated an Iranian-based entity and organizations, international conferences that supported the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Quds Force, and all of that. Sanctions. To recruit and collect intelligence from foreign attendees, including U.S. persons, and for associated individuals, OFAC, whoever they are, also designated a separate Iranian-based entity, 6 associated individuals involved in the targeted former government and military personnel as part of a malicious cyber campaign to gain access to and implant malware in their computer systems. They talking about other people trying to do something to them. And in Iran, this blow up, that blow up, right? In Lebanon, this blow up, that blow up, da, 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 da. Treasury is taking actions against malicious Iranian cyber actors in covert operations that have targeted Americans at home and overseas as part of our ongoing efforts to counter the Iranian regime's cyber attacks. The Treasury, Stephen Mnuchin is sanctioning New Horizons, the people that was doing this thing. New Horizons. The Hollywoodism, all of them, New Horizons. Just like I told the feds, New Horizons, I said, that's y'all homeboys. I said, that's y'all home folks. And then they look stupid. Then propagating anti-Semitism. There's one guy that's for sure not with them. That's Ahmadinejad. Boy, that guy's on the money. Actually, technically, he's a friend of mine. And hopefully they'll let him run next time. Because he's the only one, when he would come over here, he's the only one would tell him exactly where he was coming from. You just assassinated, you just killed a woman the other day. He said, well, hell, what did y'all do down in Virginia? Didn't y'all just send a woman to whatever they do down there, electric chair? I might have hung the lady, right? They up on everything. And people used to think I was putting them up on all of that. I deny it. Anyway, that's part of it. There's another little funny thing. The U.S. Department of State wishes to bring to the attention of the Embassy of Pakistan, that's the Iranian intersection, a matter of concern. Mr. Clarence Reams, also known as Abdul Alim Musa, born February 22, 1945. The United States government has information indicating that Mr. Reams is receiving payments from intersection. See them boxes, I take them to everybody. I said, you want to put something in the box? They calling that a payment. Right? They call it a payment. I'm calling it a donation. It's a donation. You can. That's why I never worked for none. That's why nobody could ever pay me. I did everything I did and everything I do now. You can't pay me for it. You can't pay nobody enough money to put up with this crap here. What are you going to pay them? $1 zillion? You can't do it. So they got to be doing that fi sabilillah, but then I have a box. I say, hey, man. So basically they came here to tell these two things. You got to stay away from your friends. I said, they're not my friend, they're your friends. And to prove it is that what they did as soon as I open up, I want to thank the Iranian people for all the struggles they make. Boop, no more Imam Musa. Because You're telling the Iranian people, man, y'all doing good. You're doing better from where we're looking over here. You don't know how good you're doing. You're just thinking about our economy. It's hard to make it. I say, hey, man, you may not know it, but 40 or 50% of the people over here is having it harder than you are over there. And they got everything going for themselves over here, right? It's unbelievable. But anyway, we'll move toward. So, boss man is in business to cause trouble. I don't know how long he gonna last, but the way it looks, he ain't gonna be here no longer than we are. And we might outlast him. Whatever, we want to be here to help. That's really true. You have to remember, the Negro and the poor white folks don't have any idea what's going on. When this thing collapses, now before when we'd predict the collapse, boy, we'd be out there by ourselves. We ain't there no more. All the white folks, they got their calendars and their little Ouija boards. They're trying to figure, is it tomorrow? Is it next week? Is it two, right? Amen. Everybody, but they know, look, this ain't gonna work. This ain't working. And then they listen to Goofy and Donald Duck, that's what one guy called them. And they don't say nothing about the world, the real world, right? I said, man, it's worse than Nero fiddle. This is like interesting. You know, you read all those things in history, and you know Nero wasn't really fiddling while Rome is burning, but that he was doing something like he wasn't paying attention. The Americans aren't paying attention. And then they go choose everything they do is to unravel their stuff. So they go pick on China. And China, well, last month, that might have been a good idea 6 months ago, maybe a year ago. But if you look at the choke points around the world, China is there now. China is in pocket. Hey, man. And then all the Europeans, you guys, we're tired of you getting all our money. Well, it paid the cost to be the boss, right? If everybody was following the U.S.'s lead, then the U.S. pay all the bills. It costs to be the boss, that's all. We're not going to help you guys anymore. You pay your own bills. Well, what the hell we need you for then, boss man? If you ain't going to, you know, if you ain't going to put out, hey, man, we're going to pay our own bills. We might as well do our own business. So you don't like Iran? Don't make us no difference. Remember, we always talked about currency and all of that? Everybody is thinking about a new currency. Well, what would it look like? Okay, that's what's happening. The last thing we want to say is about the world in which we're living today. Let me see, we have a few little brief. Well, gratefulness automatically. Self-monitoring, right? This is not a drill. No, well, I mean, you write notes to yourself. It's not a, this is not a drill. You know, I mean, this is just not a drill. This is real. But see, white folks call it surreal. You know, it's like, it's far out, man. It's happening.
You be like, is this really happening?
Is it really happening? Yeah. Okay. Our message to the people that this is a done deal. And now we talk to must test the Negro to the limits of humanity. That's what we use. we got to carry them all the way. Because I have a feeling that the majority of people actually like Negroes, like white folks. Even ones that didn't like them still like Negro music. So we got an avenue into, and around the world, if we can pull this off right in a mature way, we might be able to affect the world correctly. I just don't see nobody else. I don't see I don't see nobody doing. They're not even talking about it. They're not even, they're not prepared. They're not prepared. They're not prepared for what we got now, and they're definitely not prepared for day after tomorrow. They're just not prepared. So we right here, we have to if we were to relate to what we have, things that you're concerned about and things that you can actually do something about. Hopefully we'll be able to do something about our region and then expand. But this stuff about world-class organizations, you know what? There's 3 of us here, we're already a world-class organization, and we always have been. But there no handful of people can put up with this. Where's all the guys was here before? They just packed up and left. They just packed. Can you imagine? They didn't say bye. Right? Tell the truth. Everybody packed up and left. They did the same thing in California. They did the same thing in Sacramento, they did the same thing. They just all packed up. Nobody even said goodbye. Can you imagine? And then 12 years later, Ahmed Shama come in here asking about, what do you want us to do at Abaya? Well, I was just tempted to just stick it up your behind or something with it. What are you talking about? 12 years, you just pull up here bald-headed? You know, when you're the student part of the Republican, because I ask little questions. It's little stuff sipped through. I said, hey, when they was coming here a lot, I said, shoot, when you got time, I can take you on a tour of D.C. and everything. Oh, I've seen everything already. Oh, how'd you do that? Well, when I was in high school, I was a part of the Republican student. Enough said. Enough said. They can forget what they said, but I ain't forget it. You're, Republican of all things. That's nice. Right? Little bitty stuff. Little bitty, they're not paying attention because, see, if you're in this a long period of time, people can hold stuff down for 6 months, a year, some even 5 years. But stuff gonna drift out. People forget nobody can hold all of that stuff. Right? You'd have to review notes for 50 years to keep up what did I say 5 years ago. What did I hit at? It's gonna, okay. That's why we just dealing with truth. We don't have to remember nothing we say. Like, we just don't have to, well, of course we want to remember for historical sake, but what I mean is we don't have to remember to see how we're going to fit another lie into that. Because guess what? The more you lie, pretty soon you're stacking lies on lies, and that's it after a while. But anyway, let me wrap up. Mega fires, we just talked about that. Mega fires, this is white folks' language. Mega fires, good God Almighty. I guess maybe because I fought a few forest fires that I think I have a little feel for it. That's the, okay, must test the limits of the Negro humanity. We're setting our own criteria. You, the system, have reached the end of your line as far as As-Sabiqun is concerned. They've reached the end of their line. We're just beginning. They have. That's all over for them. This is just a little personal, I mean, you know. So it says, I'm waiting for someone to outrun me. In other words, that's like, you know, waiting for somebody to catch up, really, or to, you know, it's like when I used to try to sit next to Imam Jamil and say, you're going out there and do it. Because actually, you would feel more comfortable if somebody else is out there, right? And you can watch their back, you can do a lot of good stuff. It don't happen that way sometimes. So we would love, or we're waiting for someone to outrun us, to catch up, to be down with this. You know what I mean? Yeah, we look forward to that. It's just not happening. And it says to break the record, or to break my record. This stuff is record-breaking stuff, all of this. They've had in history one guy or two guys take 2 or 3 things, but they've never had just this stuff on the table. It just ain't nobody had it. And this is, like I say, 2-3% of it. I didn't mention all of this stuff. I can't even talk about it. 15-day notice. Every time I leave, I come back, I have to pay the bills out there. Why? This stuff is, you know, it's finished. Water bill, PG&E bill, all of that. That's why I keep all of that stuff. But we'll see if there's one more. That's it. Are there any questions, any comments about anything? Oh yeah, Khadijah and dear Mukhtar, y'all don't have to worry, friends. We're gonna look out for you. And we're not mad at you either. You let the people make a fool out of you a little much. Because I know y'all wanted to be accepted a lot. Because I remember we had our program here, they was talking about education, and you and your wife was talking about, we're going to get an education too. Because all the people at the table was bookie-ish people. And I told Mukhtar, you don't have to, in fact, Mukhtar took strategic management under conditions of repression and strategy and management in Islam. He took it to the teacher at the school. And the teacher read it, Walaikum Salam. Teacher told him, your leader wrote this? He said, yeah. He said, well, you don't need to be here. Just listen to him. That's what he actually said. You know, he said, you don't need to be here. Okay, but now remember, I wanted to just show you, this was a picture I was talking about Imam Jamil. Remember, this is the wire in the background. This is technically outside, but if you look at him, the puffiness and the slack in his arm stuff, this is years ago. This is years ago. Okay, now that's one thing that we can pick up on. But actually, FBI, when they came, they said if you got somebody you want to, so that's what I'm reminded. Say, hey, why don't you let the Imam Jamil out? I mean, you know, I'm not going to do nothing for it. I ain't going to tell on nobody. In fact, you know, I couldn't tell on nobody. You know why? People worried about get tortured or nothing. I don't know anything. Everything I get it out of the atmosphere. I don't have no secret contact, and I never would allow it. I wouldn't allow nobody at the daftar to tell me, "Now hold it, I don't want to know." I said, "I'm American, I don't want to know, you know." And so therefore, they could twist my arm for the next 50 years. I can't tell them nothing, but I just pulled it out of the oxygen. I just oxygenated it. And that's what it seemed like was going to happen. It's been like that. I always did that. So, are there any questions, any comments, or anything like that?
Yeah, Khadija was like active on Sunday program. Yeah, it was funny because that brother Borna,
Borna, yeah.
yeah, someone had asked, what are you talking about? Because Khadija was doing one of her rants, and then someone came in and said, Mukhtar is that weirdo snitch.
Oh,
That's what Borna said about Mukhtar.
oh, Borna said that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, look, don't worry about what they say about each other. Anyway, that's why we just have to be right. See, once you get into the push and pull and trying to be clever and all of that, this go round, it ain't gonna go like that. To the little crafty guys and all that, it ain't gonna go like that. It's not gonna, this is that time. This is a global transition. And if we could just kind of work out where we want to be and start thinking about how to get there, I think that would do us the best. Maybe other people don't see it that way. That's their opinion. But I believe that if we do it kind of like that, we can get somewhere. Let me see if I got one more hadith here. Da-da-da-da. No, I read these hadiths because about being safe from each other, each other's fitna. And that's why I was saying to Mukhtar and Khadija, all of them, Abdul Malik, them, I can understand they have certain psychological and emotional things. And they use the system, to deal with them. I don't use the system. I just deal with them myself. That's why Abdul Malik them is good actors. But they got the whole, look what they got. They got the whole studio. They got everything, and they can act like, but then when you say, hey, now that you've been acting like that, just do it for real. They have no idea what? For real? You must be crazy. And they depend on, I notice all the students, they not all the students, but if they teach, if their children are kind of like Abdul Malik's son was kind of nice, mushy guys. So he taught them, he sent them to the boxing gym to learn how to box, but he didn't send them nowhere to learn ethics. Ethics, see, his sons would run up in the hills and run right by me and play like I'm not there. And his father was working with me for 20 years since he was a baby. So all of them guys, they think being a man is protect, your manhood, that old dumb crap. That's not it. It's a higher level than that. And that's part of it. You don't want to be picked on and all that. But see, those type of people, they was never accepted as part of the crew, the janitor and all of that. And that's the way people treated Mukhtar and Khadija. They technically treated them like dummies. I didn't treat them like no dummy. Even when they acted like dummies, I didn't treat them like dummies. No, I treated them like, well, you know, if you put $35,000, $40,000 in an account and let them spend it, you know, when everybody else, they'd have to take care of their own, you know what I mean? But you just give them a little breather, because maybe they're not as bright. And they tell me, we've been there since 20-something years. I say, hell, my son and them travel all over the country, you know what I mean? They put the thing together. What are you talking about? So anyway, that might be all of it. That own criterion is a monster. Discipline, self-control, longevity and all that, that's a big deal. That is a real big deal. And it's how we view it. We have, as of yet, not allowed boss man to run nothing in our life. And that's where we're going to stay, inshallah. We're not going to let him. The only reason, because he ain't no good. And he don't have control of himself. It wouldn't be right for us to let, you know, let's see, I'll just run a couple more of these and call it a day. Has ordained for every servant amongst his creation 5 things: his death, his action, his abode, his place of moving about, and his means of sustenance. So, of course, all of these, we make our choice to do these things, to go where we want to go. But Allah already knows, foreknowledge, you know, what we're going to do. All we can do is try to feel that the essence of where Allah wants me to go. What Allah wants me to do. That's what it's all about. And maybe 1 or 2 more. It says, this is the path shown by Allah. Then he drew several other lines in the right and the left sides. He said, these are the paths on every side, of which there is a devil calling towards it. He then recited this verse, verily, this path of mine is straight, so adhere to it. The straight way, it is a lot of creatures calling on this side and calling on that. That's normal though. And it's easier to do something big if you think big than it is to do something small. So why not go for it? The last one. Muslim is one to whom tongue and hands of the Muslims are safe, and a believer is one whom the people consider their wealth and blood protected. The way the brothers kind of treat you sometimes, I wonder, what does a person think? Not to see the citizen or nothing, but an old man, if you beat him upside the head and almost kill him, right? Technically, you know, 1 or 2 blows, you don't know what would take you over the thing. You have to kind of get yourself together there, dear Khadijah and Mukhtar. Hey man, believe it or not, I don't want to be motivational sounding all that, but I'm going to close in a minute. When you look at the world, you can almost have anything that you want in it. And even you, the way you are now, you don't have to be like that. You can say, I'm going to do something different. And you will have your habits keep trying, and you keep you little and stupid and backwards. Well, I said stupid and backwards, but and you don't have to try to please them curly-headed people and them people like that. They got it worse than you do. They pretending, man. They're pretending they got it together. One of the people you looked up to, he was the same one read that Iceberg Slim book, and he came to the Masjid in '83. Got to treat him like, pimp and all of that. I said, man, this is deep. And then in the same breath, he would say, I ain't gonna let her break me, talking about a woman. Not just, you might have to turn this off, but that's okay, that's okay. In the dunya, well, Jahiliyyah, this is only Jahiliyyah stuff, has nothing to do with Islam. But if you're a gangster, you can't know a woman. What do you mean? If you said the white man ain't gonna break me, that's one thing. But if you saying a woman is not gonna break you, you have to study what in their history. What did they think about their daddy? Daddy's a nice guy, but his mama dominated. Abdul Malik, his mama, everybody in Oakland know it. They should. Dominated his daddy, and that made him always doing something stupid with women. She ain't gonna break me. So what kind of nigga is it? Think about it, that he gotta protect himself from being broke. I mean, what kind of psych she gonna use on him? I ain't gonna let her break me. Suppose I come in here, I ain't gonna let Bahia break me. What's wrong with you? What's she gonna do? She got some magic spell or something, right? Think about it. I ain't gonna let her break me. It's because of what he thought about his daddy, and I told him that too. I said, what you thought about your father and what I thought about mine is different. That's why you act the way you do. I told him. I said, that's all right, it's fine with me. I said, I like my daddy. That's why dumb Khadijah and them always trying to put something that what my daddy gonna sold into slavery. Because they know, I don't mean to get into parentage, but see, when I knew my father, if he was 45 when I was born, that means he was older, he was already mature. Now my siblings that was older, they might have knew him when he was younger, messing around a little bit, right? But by the time I know him, he is a father, disciplined. This is what, you know what I mean? He always had it in him, but he was disciplined. And he never gave me bad advice. He gave me one advice that wasn't totally correct, but it was correct for everybody else. When I told him I was leaving the country, he said, this is the only place you can make big money. I said, no. I didn't say, no, indeed. I didn't say, because in those days you didn't say, like people tell their parents, you don't know what you're talking about. I ain't even thought about that. I said, yes, sir, but I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to try it, and made money. He was the happiest man you ever seen when I'd send people by the house to leave off money, and he knew that after a while he figured out something is going on here. No, because see, all this letters come from South America, and I had nice little women going by, and you know, he said, that's a nice looking young lady there, you know. And then, but he told me a long time ago, he says, see that girl there? I said, yes, sir. He said, that's your mother. I said, yes, sir. I guess I was 16. He said, that's a good girl. I said, yes, sir. He said, but that girl is crazy. And whenever something come up, some kind of way, I said, that's right. Not crazy, but different, right? Girls is different. You see, like, I ain't gonna mention his name, but got married a few weeks ago to a little foreign girl. They should be foreign, so they should be smarter and nicer and more, how you doing? Right? Tell the truth. They girls. Ain't nothing you can't, that's the way God made them. Ain't nothing you can do about it, right? There's absolutely nothing. I don't care. You can swim the deep blue sea. It's still a girl, right? It don't make no difference. That's the way God made it. Okay, now, I'm going to close in a minute, but Mujahid, you should call me if you just got to call me, not Khadijah. She doesn't, are you afraid to call me or you something, you know? Well, I believe it is some kind of little old funny thing, but I'm telling you, I'm the nicest guy in town. You know why? Because I understand you. I don't take human weakness as bad. Just because you got stupidity, hell, everybody's stupid. Don't you know the old saying, there's too many ways to be a fool to duck 'em all? Right? And it's true. Of course, get it Islam, you'd be halfway out. There's too many ways to be a fool to duck 'em all, to miss 'em all. So, I'm just reaching out to you. I just read this stuff to show that all that stuff y'all talking about, no, you work 100% with the police, 100%. But I don't hold it against you. And your whole team, it's like being a misfit. You got to get out of the misfit club. Y'all are misfits, man. The gang that can't shoot straight, all of that dumb stuff. Can you imagine? All of Oakland and LA, all shooting at one nigga and he just walking around. There's something going on, right? If everybody there and here and everywhere else, and in South Africa, right, tell the truth. You can see they shooting because they didn't, hey man, you just have to submit to Allah. Turn to Allah and ask Allah know what you need. But you can't mess with me and get nowhere because you done already see, I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going to be mad. I ain't going to be happy. Basically, I don't know what to tell you. But I'm going to do this. It's not bragging. Hey, you can feel good almost all the time. And the older you get, the more you'll improve. Set up an improvement so that as you move forward in life, you do better. Hey man, you don't know what's happening. But you have to believe it. Allah can hook you up. You don't have to be following them crackpots, Abdul Malik. Now, Abdul Malik is a basic crackpot. He's a nice guy, and we're going to help him too. But he's still a crackpot. He's a crackpot. I mean, just a regular crackpot. You know, so just get on board. And remember this. If you do right, you got a chance to go to heaven. Now, I know you may not believe in it, but that's a condition. But not only the best of this world, but the best of the next world. The bigger the struggle, the more Allah like you, the more struggle He give you. That's actually true. So when people look and they see you going through struggle, they say, I wouldn't want that. They should say, hey, I like that. I want some of that. It's opposite of what, right? Because if you deal with it, if Allah loves someone, what do He do? Engage them in struggle. Okay, now, maybe if Allah don't like you, He have you messing with people. You know what it say about hypocrites and all that, them people. And your little boyhood, I'm going to say this and I'm going to call it a day. You can't be whippified with your wife, Khadijah, that girl is not settled. If you get big, you can bring her along. You can. If you get big, but you got to get big. You can't sit back. Why is she calling here all the time? Why ain't you calling? What's up with that? It's not that old type stuff like you got to wear the pants in the house. But for the sake of your household and your children and your future, they have to see you in a different light. They can't, I don't know what happened to you. I don't know, maybe caught you from Arkansas. You thought I forgot you was from Arkansas, didn't you? They got there, well, everybody in Arkansas ain't smart. But I'll close with that. Just do better. Trust in Allah. And don't let people push you around. You don't need to get to no education like them light-skinned Negroes and curly-headed people. They all right. The last thing I'm going to say, this is the last thing. But you know, my parents was old when I was coming up. Maybe I'm 11 or 12, 10 and all that. And believe it or not, I was darker than I am now. That's not just possible. I don't know why. That's sort of, maybe I'm lightening up using bleaching cream or something. But anyway, my mother's friends was all older. Like, they were. And they would just, they knew what people go through. They knew, they was from the South, they know that color thing. So they used to say, Ethel, they pull my cheek, he's a pretty little old black thing. So I went through life, I never had, y'all think this nigga like yellow girl. You haven't seen all my pictures. I got people blacker than tar, the middle and everything. You'll see one or two pictures and think, this nigga like yellow women. Well, it's not true at all. I like girls. I try to still like them, but anyway, you get a little old after a while. You do the best you can. But look, I'm telling you, you talking about lucky? I never went through none of that. Because all I ever remembered, and they was brainwashing me. When I realized what they did, I was already old, and I wish I could have told them, I sure appreciate what you, because they did it every week, every time. Ethel, he's a pretty little old black thing. So I'm a pretty little old black thing. I just never thought anything, I never thought anything else. I didn't ever look at them pointed nose people and curly-headed people and all of that. I never in my life, maybe they view affected, you know what I mean? Boy, that's a tender there. And they all got a certain view of tenders, but it didn't, hey man, with me, I just thought, oh, pretty little old black thing. Hey man, and same thing with you. Just settle in. You sit up here at this table or right out there talking about you want to get education. Where are those Negroes now? Where are they now? They're nowhere. How much skill do they have? If they had any skill, 50,000 of them could take one Negro out all by themselves anytime, right? If they was all them people, you're on the wrong team, buddy. You better get with the brother here. Look at the news, and I'll close. Which way is the world going? The way we talking about or the way they talking about? You want to sleep with boss man or you want to get under our tent? Thank you very much. As-Salamu Alaikum. Was there any more questions?
No, that was it.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. Well, we can have a little Maghrib, inshallah, and we'll be off and rolling. Hijo la chingao. Excuse me, I didn't say that. Well, you know, I had a friend from Lebanon.